Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Sketching. It's day 23 of my sketching challenge. Hope you're having a great day. Only a couple of days left now for till 2018, so I hope you've started this challenge with me. So today I'm drawing an orange, a small tangerine type orange that I found in the kitchen. And yeah, so basically I'm doing the same routine that I usually do. I'm just blocking out the colour, but today I decided to use a different brush that I've not really used before, especially on the iPad Pro. It's a dry brush from the standard painting brush set from Procreate, and I really like this brush. It was the blending was really nice on it. I mean, the light I kind of went in and it kind of really imitated how a dry brush would really work. Obviously, in real life, dry brushes don't really work exactly like this, but I just actually liked how this one worked, purely because I could so easily blend and really increase the intensity of the colour by pressing harder on the Apple Pencil. So yeah, so all I'm doing here is just adding in the oranges. They kind of started off with just a base colour, added in a bit more of a darker tone of orange, and then a bit of yellow on the top left hand corner, where the light is really hitting the orange itself. So it's working out really well, this. To be honest with you, I would have probably not approached this with this type of a brush if I was doing a full painting, but I just wanted to experiment with this kind of, the remaining brushes that I've got in Procreate that I've not used yet. So in reality, I would have probably used an oil paint brush to kind of really bring out the hard textures and the kind of paints and the shades on this piece. But yeah, I just wanted to really test it out, and overall the effect was fine. And on top of this, now what I'm doing is I just used, I think it was called a Nico roll or something, or it was another brush called Nico something, and that's got like a nice wide texture head on it, so that worked pretty nice. I just lightly layered it on. I didn't use it too much. I just wanted to get a bit of texture on this actual piece without having to do too much work, and that worked quite nicely. So again, so all I've done now is I just switched back to the other brush that I was using, and I'm just basically kind of refining the edges now, while I'm just erasing the edges out with the eraser, and then I'm going back in now with some detail work using the pencil, I think, and I'm just adding in some of these like circular dots and kind of random shapes that you can see on the texture of this orange. Yeah, so it kind of it worked really well. I mean, yesterday I was in the Apple shop, and I wanted to try out the iPad Pro 10.5 inch, because the one that I got, the 12.9 inch one, which it's about a month now that I've had it, I just wanted to I could get asked this a lot usually. I was actually discussing this with somebody the other day, about which iPad Pro you should get for art. Should you go for the smaller 10.5 inch one? Should you go for the 12.9, or should you even go for the older 9.7 inch one? And I guess it's really up to, it depends on your style really. How big do you draw? Personally, I like to draw on A4 size. That's the smallest size I draw on, A4, and then it becomes bigger. So for me, the 12.9 was ideal, and because I'm already used to using a Cintiq, which is a 13-inch tablet, this was kind of more in my workflow of things, and so for me this size tablet is just perfect. And your hand actually kind of fits on the tablet while you're kind of doing your work without covering up the whole screen. So what I did was, in the Apple shop, and I kind of had to go on the 10.5 inch, and they have Procreate, a demo version of Procreate on all the Apple stores, and that was to be honest with you, I wasn't really too impressed with it. It was great. I mean, for a mobile tablet, for me to take around, like for example, if I had to just go to work, or I'm just going out, like even on the bus or on the tram, it'd be great to just pull a smaller iPad out. I mean, I wouldn't be able to pull this 12.9 inch one out purely because it's just so big and so expensive. But I think I'm going to do a separate video for that, because I did do a small little recording of me trying it out, and I think I might upload that in a couple of days and go through the pros and cons and the ins and outs of the size of the iPad Pro. But anyway, coming back to the got sidetracked there a bit. Coming back to the orange itself, the drawing today, I did a lot of cross hatching with the HB pencil. just to really bring out the texture on the on this piece. And now I'm just kind of working on that kind of little knot at the top of the orange, so just outlining, you know, some of the details with the pencil, going in a little bit dark, and then just over that, just using the same pencil to add in some bluish green shade to really bring out the kind of, like, you know, the colours that I was seeing, because I was actually drawing this from in real life. I wasn't drawing it from the photograph. I was looking at the, you know, the actual orange or tangerine or whatever you want to call it on the table and drawing this. So yeah, I was just drawing the colours that I was seeing, and it worked out pretty well. Again, because I'm doing this on the sketch challenge, it's not, I'm not looking for perfection. I'm not looking for, you know, realism, or, you know, making it look exactly how it is. It's just practice. It's just warming up to the you know, for the coming months, where we can actually sit down and work on something systematically, stage by stage. So yeah, so the overall effect was pretty good on this. I was happy. Again, like I said before, I would have, if I was going to tackle this subject, so this, if I was going to draw or paint this orange for like a finished, like a professional piece, I wouldn't really be using these brushes in Procreate. I would have gone straight for the acrylic or the oil brush. But for an exercise, just to kind of, like, you know, test out the brushes and the styles and see how the colour blends, and, you know, work on a little bit of mixed media, it's fine. I would recommend, you know, using this brush. Maybe not drawing this particular piece here, drawing something else, but do try out all the brushes in Procreate if you've got it. And if you haven't got it, just try out other brushes that you have got. I mean, if you're following this sketching challenge using traditional materials, then just use a different brush. Use some different kind of wet medium. So if you're painting using watercolor, try it out in acrylic if you can. If not, try it out in pencil, crayons, or whatever you've got lying around. I mean, if you've got kids, kids usually have a lot of, you know, crayons and, like, you know, cheap pencils. Just try it out there. You don't have to use expensive pencils, especially for this challenge. Just whatever you, even if you've got a biro, a Bic pen, just try it out with that. It will really kind of, you know, open up you know, the kind of mediums that are available to you, because in the end of the day, it's not really the equipment or the or what do you call it, the material that make a good painting. It's the person who's painting it or drawing. It's that skill that they have, and that skill will develop over time. The more you practice and the more you broaden your horizon, if you like, to different methods and tools, it will really build up that library of kind of assets, if you like, that you have, you know, in your artistic tool set, if you like, in your brain and in your hands, to really tackle you know, all the subjects that you've always wanted to tackle. So yeah, so all I'm doing now is just adding in the airbrush details, going in really dark just to get the overall picture of it, and then just reducing the opacity like I've been doing in the previous video, so really light, so it looks nice and uniform. And then what I do here is I'm just going in with the highlights, and I think I selected just a gel pen from the pen options, the inking brushes, and I just went in very lightly around the knot leafy area that we've got on the top. And then what I did was, on the actual surface of the skin of this orange, I just created these circular motions, these like round circles, to just really bring out a bit of texture, especially where the light was hitting, really to mix it up, so you don't have the same type of strokes on each end. And I think that really creates that visual texture that you can't really get if you just use, you know, the same strokes and make the drawing look really flat. So yeah, so all I'm doing here now is just adding in a bit of outline on the edge. You don't necessarily need to put outlines on everything. I mean, I remember my art teacher, I used to have the habit when I was young to always outline everything, and my art teacher always told me, she said, you don't need to outline the edges, especially where the light's coming in. And she was right, but I was just a rebellious artist. I always wanted to do it my way, but she was right. So if you are taking art lessons, then definitely listen to your teachers. They do know what they're going on about, even if at the time you think, you know, they don't know anything, and that's what I thought. So yeah, so all I'm doing now is just cleaning up the drop shadow that's on the table with the eraser, just kind of making it a lot smaller, because again, I was drawing this from the real life actual fruit itself. So the drop shadow was going all over the place because there were people walking in and out of the room and the light was changing, so it wasn't kind of uniform. I should have really drawn it from the image that I've got on the left hand side, but I just didn't have the time to do that. So whatever's available to you for this challenge. I mean, I think we're on day 23 now, so we've really not got long left now for this challenge, and I think already I've built up quite a lot of reference images and a lot of paintings and drawings that I've done, and for me that's, you know, ultimately we'll have 30 pieces that we've done, and then we can go back and, you know, really review them and see kind of, you know, where we can make improvements, or, you know, test out other brushes. And yeah, so I hope you're really trying out this challenge. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm sure you will as well. So yeah, so definitely try it out. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give the video a thumbs up. Please also subscribe to the channel for more content, and I'll hopefully see you on the next one. So take care of yourself, keep sketching, and peace.